And I wanted to let my children know that when it gets hard, because it will, that there will be rocks thrown, but you don't have to walk through all of the storms by yourself. So when life throws rocks at you, be clear about what it is that you're going to do. Hey now, how is everybody doing? Welcome to Red Alert Diaries with Tanya E. Hood. I'm glad I get the chance to see you again. And today I want to talk to parents because parenting can be hard. We don't often realize that or know how much stuff we're going to go through when we have these little people. But along the way, we get a thought about what we want them to do, the adults that we want to help them to become. But sometimes we don't feel like we have enough skill sets to make it happen. So there are three things I want to share with you today that I think will be supportive of you. First, as a parent, don't think that you've got to try to do everything that all of the TV shows say and a lot of the books say. The thing that you need to do is be you for that child. You are the parent for that child in this moment for a good reason. It may not feel like you have everything together, but the thing that you do have already, it's enough. So get clear about who you are. Knowing who you are will help you tap into and tune into who your babies are. And you'll begin to see their individual personalities. You'll get the opportunity to see which child is really supportive, which one's really loving, which one's really creative, which one's super serious. Because some of these little babies come in here real serious. I went through that journey with my second one, trying to figure out how to get this little boy to enjoy life. Eventually, it all worked out. But at the end of the day, what I discovered is that it started with me. It started with me deciding to know Tanya enough. Be clear about what I could do and what I couldn't do, because there's a lot of things that I wanted to do. A lot of times they just want us. So just be you. And if you aren't clear about who you are at the core of your being, it'll be difficult for you to parent them because they'll start mimicking. They'll mimic your good behaviors and your bad behaviors. So I had to start with me. What do I bring to the table? What skill am I showing? What am I displaying as a parent? Because one of the things that I did then that supported me so much later, I was in a position when my children became teenagers to say to them, do you see me do that? Because they still mimic behaviors. And I wanted to be an example that they could mimic appropriately. So there were things I just did not do. TV shows I did not watch. Music I did not listen to because I wanted to be able to say, do you see me do that? Because I had to be the model to show that it could be done. Because too many times people default on past behaviors. If you were raised a certain way, oh, everybody in my family does that. So it's just things that we do. No, some of that is learned behavior. Learned behavior that has become bad behavior that just gets passed on from one generation to the next, and it needs to stop. So figure out what it is that you're doing that is not supporting you and will not support the next generation either. The second thing I had to do it messy. We often hear the term that it takes 21 days to create a behavior. No, it doesn't. It takes 21 days for you to realize that that's the behavior that you want and for you to know that you're not really doing it consistently, but it's not a behavior yet. A behavior is something that's automatic. A behavior is something that you just do. You have to grow into that. One of the skills that I learned is take 100 days. Whatever new behavior that you want to implement, start doing that one thing for 100 days. I know it sounds boring, but behaviors are boring. Behaviors are automatic. We just do them. You don't even know half the time that you're doing it because it's so boring and it's so mundane. But at the end, if it's a good behavior that you want to support you, oh, it'll support you. And it will be boring. But the consistency will be something that your children will see. The consistency will be something that you will automatically display. The consistency will have you become the parent that you desire. So be boring with it. 100 days, whatever that thing is that you want to one day tell your teenager. Do you see me do that? Here's the last thing that I want to leave you with. Just keep pressing. Life is going to throw rocks at you. It's not going to be pretty, and you know it's going to happen. We don't often want to consider the fact that something's going to go wrong, but it will. And when life throws rocks at you, some of those rocks you can pick up and build something brand new with it. Sometimes life will throw rocks at you that you will learn how to move a little bit faster, duck and dodge a little bit easier, so that you know that is not something that I want in my world and I'm not going to touch it. And then there'll be moments that life will throw rocks at you, that you'll get a skill that you'll be able to perceive which ones to catch because you need to do something more effective with it, and which ones to toss because you no longer need any of that in your world. So when life throws rocks at you, be clear about what it is that you're going to do. And as you gain more clarity, it will give you a better vision for your future. And as you navigate those hurdles, it's a skill set that you will then possess, that you can teach your children, because life is going to throw rocks at them. We like to think that as parents, we have to protect them from everything. You do have to protect them, but there are some things it is best for them to get thrown at them while they're still in your home, while they're still in your covering, while they're still around you, to be able to see how they navigate those hurdles. When children go through divorce, we want to protect them from the chaos that we have experienced. But I need you to know that they know something's happening. Create an environment with the rocks that are being thrown at you to help them. One of my first rocks that I had to pay better attention to helping my children through the process was the teaching tool when I grabbed that rock, was about my finances. We no longer had the two-parent income that they were used to. So when I had to take my children out of some of their extracurricular activities, I had to start talking about money. Rocks thrown at me was the financial blows that was coming left, right, and center. Teaching them how to manage the money that we had, teaching them that the things that they desired and they wanted at one point took a different resource that was no longer available. So it gave them a concept that money is what I've shared in a little couple episodes back. Money is a tool. And it's a tool that is a resource that can ebb and flow. Sometimes, depending on what's happening, you can have a lot of resources. Sometimes, depending on what's happening, those resources dry up. But at the end of the day, how you will function when you have it determines what you will do next. So my children learned about budgeting. I put them in what my oldest one called Life University. I taught them how to budget their finances on a monthly basis because I had to budget my finances on a monthly basis. So I created an Excel spreadsheet. It was an Excel spreadsheet where I gave them virtual $300 a month. And in that $300 virtually, they had to deduct living expenses, entertainment, food, various things that I had to budget as well. So while I was working on budgeting and revamping my personal skills, my personal strategies, I was teaching my children to do the same. So they recognize that when you are living in a home, there's a mortgage until it is paid off, that you have to deal with housing. So that's an expense. If you are going to live anywhere, whether you're buying or renting, it's still a housing expense. I also used those rocks that were being thrown at me to pull up my personal values. There are values that we have that we want to pass on to our children. And I wanted to pass on my basic beliefs in a being greater than myself so that my children can know that there will be rocks thrown, but you don't have to walk through all of the storms by yourself. Because at that time, I had finally let Jesus join me on the journey. And that was God's plans and God's strategies that I was using to get me through my journey. And I wanted to let my children know that when it gets hard, because it will, you don't have to go it alone. I can only give you the basic foundation. There will be things in life that you will experience that I will never encounter. And I cannot walk you through it. I do not have the skill set to get you there. And I may not be around, but there is someone that will always be with you, that will always be present, that will help you see how to pick up what you have. Because as your mom, I'm going to give you the first foundation to give you the skills, to give you the values, to give you that thing that you can stand on to the best of my ability, like all of us want to do as parents. I will teach you through the life lessons and the stuff that I'm walking through to pick the rocks that's necessary, toss the ones that aren't, so that you can do it. Do it messy. Because sometimes we want to be perfect, to give our children this perfect perception of life. It's not. So they learn to see their mother do it messy. And I learned that taking that first step, even though it was messy, it was helpful, it was supportive, and it's what I needed to do. And the pressing, the last thing, because of all of that, I just kept moving, just kept pressing. And because I knew Jesus had joined me on the journey, it was his plan that I followed because I trusted his heart when I didn't understand his hand. Too many times we are trying to put God in a box that we feel keeps us going in our journey. If we just trust God's heart when we don't understand his hand, because even like I wanted to make certain that I was covering my children as their parent, I was thinking God would cover me and wouldn't let all these rocks get thrown at me. And then one day I saw this image of this guy that was walking along. In one scene, he was just walking and rocks were being thrown at him. And he started ducking and he started dodging the thing that I was telling you about earlier. And he was sitting there thinking, Lord, if you are really there, why won't you protect me from these rocks? In the next scene, they showed an image of Jesus holding back mountain-sized boulders that was coming at this man. And it was the little teeny ones that just got by, not the big thing that Jesus was holding. So we sometimes forget wanting to try to put God in our box when we get our little rocks thrown at us, that God's not protecting us, that God's not there for us, but he's standing there holding back the big boulders in your life. So trust God's heart when you don't understand his hand. And that way, you will teach your children to trust your heart when it doesn't look like your hands are doing the things that they want, the things that they desire, the things that other parents are doing. And so for today, if you don't remember anything else I shared, here's the one thing I want you to know. You are going to do okay in this thing called parenting. You can raise amazing children just taking the first step with what you know you have and doing it messy, and it's okay. But let Jesus join you on the journey. And if you want someone else to join you on the journey, feel free to go to my website, TanyaEHood.com. There you can click under the Work With Me tab and see the various ways that we can work with one another. And if you are on YouTube, you can join me live every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, where we can continue this conversation or we can start a new one. In the meantime, this is Tanya E. Hood, walking in my purpose, and I want you to do the same.
to come.